A solo on the screen, isn't it? Hare Krishna. We welcome you all to this session on demystifying Guru-disciple relationship. It's our third episode today. So thank you so much for being with us and attending the sessions and sending the questions. We are very thankful to His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj for being available again for us. In spite of his busy schedule, so many classes on daily basis, responding to messages from hundreds of devotees, having a very hectic schedule, still Maharaj chooses and agrees to be with us every Saturday, 4:30 p.m. India time. So we welcome Maharaj with much gratitude. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance, Maharaj. So, very interesting session has been going on, Maharaj, in the last 2 weeks, and you are giving such wonderful answers, wonderful insights. Actually, your answers are making me ask many more questions based on those answers. So I think these talks can go on for a long time. Before I begin with my questions, I would like to ask a question which has been pending since last 2 weeks. On the first episode, His Grace Jayadev Prabhu had asked 2 questions on Facebook. We could not get them on board. So let me begin with that first. So the first question is there any connection of who we are in the spiritual world and who is our Diksha Guru in this world?
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Visnu Bhakti Dhira Swami Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Visnu Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Nirvise Sasanya Vadi Pastata. Thank you very much for the questions devotees are asking. If there is a spiritual connection or person who is our spiritual master from Goloka that is present here, I have not heard from any of our acharyas explaining the specific devotee and the relationship here. But when we look at our scripture, we'll see Pundari Vidyanidhi and Dhira Pandit. In their previous lives, Pundari Vidyanidhi is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, who is the father of Srimati Radharani, and this is Dhira Pandit. So we can say that there is a connection. There is a connection. This is a practical connection between them. Dhira Pandit is with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he never asked him for initiation. He asked for initiation from Pundari Vidyanidhi, who happens to be his father or her father in the past life. So there is a connection. And if you will go deeply, also will see that there are so many instances like this that our connection from the spiritual world will manifest here for us, because we are eternal beings and we have eternal relationship in the spiritual world. So that does exist. That it is there that one can have a spiritual master from there that is also manifesting here. Sarupa Goswami also, he is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he considers Sanatana Goswami his elder brother to be his spiritual master. And there he mentioned that Sanatana Goswami is Sanatan Kumara in the four Kumaras, who is now present with him as Sanatana Goswami. And when we look at the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this morning we're reading, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, both of you are my eternal associates in the spiritual world. And we know this, and we are here. We are here together. The connection is there. Because every material thing is a function, is existing due to the spiritual nature. Every material thing has existing from the spiritual. By the system of configuration, material energy was configured into material. Spiritual energy has been configured into material. So we say the reflection. It's a reflection of what is real, what is original. Due to configuration, this takes place. So it is true. It is true that yes, the relationship is there. That even some of us knows our spiritual master before we met them physically. Me, I was not appointed to have my spiritual master by somebody. It was done to me spiritually. When I say spiritually, it means I saw someone holding my hand and giving me this. This is your spiritual master. And also before meeting my spiritual master, I have had an experience that one ISKCON Guru's name was mentioned to me. I have never seen him physically. I have never seen him. Of course, that can be contested. ISKCON, we have so many different ideas for understanding some things. But to me, it means that we have connection with the person. We both of us has connection. That is why it is mentioned. By then, I don't know him. It is after the name was mentioned to me, I started making inquiry. And I discovered that yes, we have such a devotee now. And eventually, we met. And the first time we met, even though I did not know him, I did not know that this is a person that I was told before. But when we physically met, he directly came to me and started speaking to me. And then we were discussing. It was towards the end, he mentioned his name. I said, oh, okay. I didn't tell him, but I said, oh, I was very happy that I have met this person. So this is a physical thing that happened to me directly. And I can say that, yes, there is a connection. And when that happens, when we meet, naturally we see each other. We know each other and we know the connection. Another thing I would remember is the relationship between Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhakti-Dhira Swami Prabhupada, his confounder Acharya, and the relation and Srila Bhakti Dhira Saraswati Thakur. When they met for the first time, Srila Bhakti Dhira Saraswati Thakur is giving him instruction. And the instruction was given in the presence of his already initiated disciple. That instruction was given to Prabhupada, but it was not given to the disciple he has already had as his initiated disciples. And Sir Prabhupada mentioned in the lecture, in one of his offering to Bhakti Dhira Saraswati in the approach. I did not know I'm going to have such a person as the master. I don't know, but that is the humility. He knows. If he did not know, why would they have such an exchange just for the first time of meeting, at least for this lifetime, physically? There is a connection. So I would say that yes, there is such thing in our life.
All right, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Actually, spiritual life is very mystical and mysterious. That people living on this planet have connections with people living in the spiritual world. So Maharaj, one doubt comes in my mind. I'll go to the question of Jaydev Prabhu, second question later. We know our previous acharyas, many of them, who they are in the spiritual world, their ontological position is mentioned, like who is which Manjari and who is which Sakha. Why is that Srila Prabhupada never publicly or even privately to devotees, never told about his constitutional position, who is he in the spiritual world? Why did he hide that information? when the acharyas, previous acharyas in our Gaudiya Parampara, they have revealed their, or someone has revealed their position? What
Yes,
could be the reason?
we are individual, and we have differences in how we present ourselves. Actually, what I have seen, I've been seeing with our acharya is that they don't like to speak about themselves, even though they are so exalted. They don't like. Really, they will say, and they say indirectly. They will sing about it, like Bhakti Dhira will sing about it, or write a poem about it. In this way, they will reveal who they are, or Krishna in their people life, or their special master in their people life. But from practical experience, we can see that there is a sign that he spoke about who he is. I never forget Krishna in my life, even while he was acting as a householder, as a worker, or he was a student, or whatever. I never forget Krishna in my life. And from my practical experience, from what I have listened to, he identified himself as a cowherd boy from Krishna. The name is not given like other acharyas, like Gora Ganadesh Deepika and Radha Krishna Ganadesh Deepika. The names of the personalities are mentioned that his name is not mentioned there, but that is his personal way, and that doesn't disqualify him from being what he is.
Yes, Maharaj. Certainly, Maharaj. So now I go to the second question of Jayadev Prabhu. He says, when the Guru disappears from the planet and goes back to the spiritual world, how is it that the Guru can remember all the disciples from the material world and continue to guide them?
It is not difficult because this is not a material thing; it's a spiritual thing. We have heard about a devotee who knows present, past, and future. So what do we think about such a person? A person who knows past, present, and future. What would be a secret for him to know? It shouldn't be a difficulty that the person knows. If I know the past, I know the present, and the future of every person. You can tell. And if that is a disciple we have a relationship with, they can tell. Even for my own limited nature, I stay with about 200 brahmacharis at a time in the Chopati temple, 2004, 2003, 2004, partly 2005. And at that time, all the brahmacharis who were in the temple, I know all their names completely. And one day I told the devotee, said, see, just stand here without show. Don't say anything. Don't even say anything. Don't show me your face. Just let me see your feet alone. I can tell. Even the feet of every single devotee, I can tell this feet belongs to such and such person. That is on the condition level. So if that can happen on the condition level, and I did it practically. Devotees. There's one devotee in Narottam Prabhu. He was there in the temple, and now he's married. He lives in a different place, and I didn't know. But somehow, some years ago, I traveled and visited the village where he is now preaching. But as soon as I called him, he was shocked. He was surprised. You remember me? I said, yes, Prabhu. I lived with you for for 6 months, and every day we are interacting. How will I not know you? Even if you become whatever, even if you become deformed, I will say no. I will say remember. So on the material level, this is it. What about spiritual level? On the spiritual, we will know everything. It is possible. A spiritual master will, a pure devotee will know every devotee, everyone. He will know all the disciples, even by name. You can know. The Christian calls all these cows by name. All the cows, Krishna calls them by name individually. He knows all. So why would it be difficult for us to do the same thing? Since we're acting on the spiritual energy. Because we're acting on the spiritual energy, so it is beyond material matter. So we'll know everything. So I just give an example of a practical example of my own life as a condition. So what if you become a pure devotee and now you're directly with Krishna in the spiritual world? In the spiritual world, Sanatana Goswami mentioned in his book, The Help of Tamrita, that that the Vaikuntha verses, they have all the 6 opulences of Krishna completely. And they are all desirables. They are all desirable. They are tasty, they are everlasting, they are permanent opulences of Krishna that belongs to all the Vaikuntha verses. So if you have that opulence, which knowledge is one of them, so it will not be a difficulty. Knowledge is one of the opulences of Krishna. So we'll have all Krishna's ability to function on his behalf, here in the material world and there in the spiritual world. She will know everybody completely. She's not a problem.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. In regards to this, in relation to this, I'll bring up another question. I'll share one incident, Maharaj, which we had in 2016 or 17. I think it's 2016. You were in Vrindavan. You had come there to teach Bhakti Shastri. And it was the first time I was observing, I had the chance to observe His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj's Vyas Puja ceremony in Vrindavan. So devotees had invited you to speak in glorification of Maharaj. So I remember I was falling behind you, walking behind you. And when we entered the Balaram hall, we were just at the door. I was expecting that His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj would be physically present there, sitting on the Vyasasana. And I just blurted out that it seems Maharaj is not here. And then you looked back at me, and then you, with your eyes right into my eyes, you asked, "Is he not here?" So at that time, I was scared to say yes or no, what should I say? Then I said, yes, he's here, but he's here in the form of picture. So then you told me, yes, he's there, he is there. So that time I realized this thing, that the guru can be also present in the form of photograph. I want to ask, what is the science behind this? Like, can any person interact through the photograph? We know some psychic people also, they have such powers. Some people who have black magic powers, they also do such things. So what gives the spiritual master these powers that they can interact through their photographs and the disciples can connect through the photographs?
Yeah, but materially speaking, it is a science. It is a science. What is that? Psychometric. Psychometric. It is something that I have I have a lot of experience. Psychometric. And in Britain, the fountain pen we were using before, the pink ink, pink ink. The science will put that ink inside the water with some incantations. You can be able to see. You can be able to see personalities and exactly tell what is happening with them. And you can also take someone's dhoti or watch or shoe, anything the person has ever used. To these personalities, from this item, they can tell exactly. They can call the name, even they have never known the person, not seen the person physically. They can call the name. They can tell what is happening, and they can give some prescriptions on how to handle person. Say the person is sick or something. They can do that. And there's some psychic science also, psychic ability that one can look at your picture and do something that will affect the person physically. Means what? It means that we are from energy. Everything has an energy. Everything has an energy. Some Shakti. These Shaktis are pronounced and some are silent, not pronounced. But in every object there is a Shakti. And if it is true with the material object, what about the spiritual? So the pure devotees who are pure, before that said that. So like if a person leaves the body, in the family. And people keep calling the person name, calling with the serious attachment and calling. It will force that soul to be hovering in that environment. It's a ghost is haunting the place. Because somebody is attached to that place, is attached to the property, attached to the life that they have lived before, he or she has lived before. And the family members are attached to the person, they are calling and calling and calling the person again, haunting that environment. But we do that also in our spiritual sector. When we are doing Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada, he's sitting there, we are calling him all over the world, we are calling him Prabhupada. He is there. He is there, and he's seeing every one of us. And everything that we do, like the previous question, if the Guru would know all of us. When we go before the Srila Prabhupada, this I have said many times, that we should be so serious in our Krishna consciousness so that when we enter the temple room, Prabhupada Asan is there and Srila Prabhupada is sitting there. When we enter there to offer our obeisances, Srila Prabhupada should tell us how our spiritual health is. Like we give a Sankirtan report to Prabhupada with the deities. Our chariots, we should be so connected with our spiritual master that they should be able to tell us how they report of our spiritual health every day. As we practice our Krishna consciousness, they're supposed to tell us exactly where our spiritual health is or what is our practice. They're supposed to tell you the results. I'm not just fanatically saying this. I'm not just egoistically saying this. I'm not just superstitiously saying this. I'm saying it because that is how it should be. Why? Because Prabhupada is there. All the pure devotees are there. As I said, materially the Shakti is there. But in spiritual personality, this Shakti is fully manifest. Fully manifested. Like every person's hand has medicine inside, naturally. But some people have developed the same in such a way that it is fully manifested. They can pray for you, they can consecrate something. You see, the Pujari who used to do is, what do you call it? Yes, mudras. They do the mudras. The Shakti is there. All the mudras are very, very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So those who know the sign that they can awaken this or have developed this, it is there in everybody. But some of us can have developed it and make it in my face, and some is not. But it is always there. So the spiritual people, spiritual personality, they have developed this because of their discipline in practice. That they are present there, more present there in their pictures in the temple or in the murti in the temple. I have read, and I'm sure you remember that the message they have been posting. One devotee, I think from Udupi, he came to meet Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, and he told him that he has come and appeal to Srila Prabhupada to do certain thing. And Prabhupada says that, what is that? He said, your murti is going to be installed or is installed. And people that are coming to touch you, they are dumping their sins on you. Please, Prabhupada, don't do this. And so the Prabhupada responded. He appreciated the devotees' offering. He appreciated that. And he told the devotee, yes, I came to take the people's sinful reactions. So there's no problem. Let them give it to me. This is what I came for. The devotee was so shocked that he offered obeisance and left. So it is true. It is not false. It is true that the personality of deity is present in the deity as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also the spiritual personality, the bona fide spiritual master, they are present in their deity, in their pictures. That is how we carry their picture. We also carry their murti. We will pray to them, they answer. When we offer prasadam, they accept it. We offer anything, they accept it. So they are seeing us every day. And as we do our Guru Puja every day, His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Maharaj said, every day Guru Puja means we are reconfirming our vows to the spiritual master. And that is true. It is true. It's a reality. This is what we are doing. So it is very important if we can do this thing consciously. And when we go to the temple, even if for some of us who spiritual master is not sitting there physically, we should be able to see him in our minds and recite the pranama mantra to him and recite to Prabhupada and be fully convinced that they are sitting there, they are seeing us, they are monitoring us, and they are rewarding us exactly as we are performing our devotional activities. These things are not material things that we are spending so much money to build a very expensive asana and make a very expensive marble structure, feature proper and put him there. It is not a fashion, it is a reality. They are present in there. One God sister told me, which is my own experience, my regular experience. I say regular experience. I say it's a regular experience. And this God sister also was telling me, Brahma Samhita Mataji was telling me that once on the Janmashtami Day, they're celebrating in Ivory Coast, here in West Africa. And some of the guests were invited. They're not been some. The lady was invited, not like the devotee have been coming for a long time and having experience. But she just attended for a short time. And when she came, and the devotee were celebrating it outside the temple room. So when she came in, when she came in, she saw His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Maharaj was there celebrating. After the celebration, the devotees have moved inside the temple room and the asana, in the temple room to so the lady also came inside, and she was asking, what would that the other person who was in the program there? The devotee was saying, who is that? Because they didn't see. She saw. What would that person? Who is that person? That man who dressed like this. But once he went to the ashram and saw Gurudev, he said, yeah, this one. What is him? Yeah, this one. He was there in the program. They were looking at each other. Gurudev was there. So I'm not just speaking. I'm saying something which is happening. And some people that are seeing it. Another boy also had the same experience with Lakoba. And he came as he was approaching the gate. He saw the Prabhupada was like a money walk. I had gone on money walk and he came to the gate. So they met at the gate, but the Prabhupada was in the front. So Prabhupada entered. He saw the Prabhupada entered the temple room and went to his asana and sat down there. His mukti was there on the asana. Prabhupada mukti is there on the asana. Prabhupada, the boy saw that this Prabhupada came from outside and entered the gate to the temple and went to the asana and sat there. That means Prabhupada entered back into the mukti. So we are not saying anything which is a superstition, which is not real, which is not happening. We are saying something which is real, which is happening. That a spiritual master, these spiritual personalities, they have developed themselves, they are present in their picture, they are present in their murti, they are present in any paraphernalia which they have used, they are present there. They are present. And I remember I mentioned this last year in Benawan during Lord Balaram and Krishna's appearance. I mentioned that although we worship the deities every day and they are present there, but on the appearance day, they are more present. Their presence is more felt. So much so that if we pray that day, our prayer will be more beneficial. In any spiritual thing we do that day, it will have more benefit than other days, because they are more present in their deity that particular day. that other days, although they are there every day and we are worshiping. So the difference is that these special personalities, they are present in their picture. So when we offer prayers, they accept. When we offer food at him, they accept. When we offer them gifts or services, they accept. And the result is that we will make advancement. We are making advancement from all the offerings we are making to this great personality.
Thank you, Maharaj, for such a detailed answer. Really grateful for it. Maharaj, you mentioned that when someone who has connection with the spiritual master or the Acharya bows down, offers pranams to the deity of Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada should speak to that devotee whether he's doing nicely or not, making progress or not. So, honestly speaking, for myself, I heard about this ever in my Krishna conscious life for the first time from you, Maharaj. No one before you spoke anything like that, that the deity of Srila Prabhupada can interact with us. Now, this thing, how should we take when we are getting something new to learn? Is this also Krishna's mercy, or Krishna is sending the mercy in this way that we come to know about new and newer aspects of Krishna consciousness? First thing. And second thing, when we come to know about it, how do we practice it? Like if someone's consciousness is not at that level to be actually, conscious that the deity is there and the deity can speak to us, can interact with us, can tell us whether we are doing it correct or not. So how can one make sure that one, instead of listening to the mind, actually listens to the deity?
Yes. when we get to know these things, means that Krishna wants you to know about it. We should know what is happening. Because our movement is not just a society where rules, don't do. Just philosophy, you are not a body, you are not a body. It is not just only this. This is to take us to the reality. All the rituals we perform in Christian consciousness, they are to take us inside. So this is the mentality, this is the mood we should have in practice. So all these messages are coming to us because we need to know them. And this is our heritage. It's something that is meant for us, that we are not assessing. So it's good for us to assess this thing so that we can be more convinced in our Christian consciousness that it is not just a dogma, it is a reality. Christian consciousness is a substance. Verse 2, verse is a substance, it's something real. We can experience it, we can identify with it, and we can feel it. So this is the idea that this Krishna is giving all these things to us. They are our material to handle, to relate with, to experience. And what next? The next thing is that when we know something, just like if we are hungry and food is prepared and is placed before us, the next thing is to honor it, to relish it. So as we are hearing this thing, we should start to practice them. We should accept it. We should not doubt that all these are fairy tales, or this is it true? This Christian consciousness. What is Christian consciousness that we know? What is it? This is Christian consciousness. That everything is real and it's a reality that we have to identify with. So we should practice them. We should take them to the hand. Otherwise, we are saying that if you don't do this, we are saying that it is fiction. To put proper and answer there, they are sitting this fiction. No, it is not fiction, it is real. Our philosophy is fiction. No. 𝐁𝐡𝐚𝐤𝐿 Swami, our charity, they have no time for fiction. They gave us what is real, and we have to experience it. So how do we start to practice them? When we go to the temple, it's not a difficult thing. We should know I am offering obeisances to a person. We should know this. I am offering obeisances to a person. Which person? A person who knows me, a person who can help me, a person who is just here to help me. So I should be conscious of this person's presence. Otherwise, we are doing idol worship. If you go and offer obeisance to Prabhupada without recognizing that he is there, if you offer obeisance to our spiritual master without seeing him sitting there, that we can see in our own mind's eye, then we're doing idol worship. If it's not idol worship, then we should see them really sitting there. And that is Christian consciousness. This is how we can go about it. We start practicing it in this way. Then
yes,
become
okay, thank you so much, Maharaj, for that very practical answer. Now, Maharaj, I'll come to a question which I had from your first day's interaction with us. You mentioned that one should have one Diksha Guru only, and one can have many Siksha Gurus. And then you said because having one Diksha Guru helps in becoming one-pointed in focus. One can develop exclusive focus by having only one Diksha Guru. So can you elaborate on this, how having one Diksha Guru helps the disciple to develop that exclusive focus? Focus on what, Maharaj? And why is that needed?
yes. The Diksha Guru and the Siksha Guru, both of them are bona fide. And seeing both of them are bona fide, they can take us back to Godhead. Among the two, the Diksha Guru is more prominent. In case there's a situation where there is a conflict in interest, or not interest, conflict in opinion, it's an interest or an opinion, or something that needs some clarification. The Diksha Guru has the authority more than the Siksha. Why? Because it has been designated the one who has made the connection with the Paramita. So it has a predominance in our consciousness. And when we have too many things, it will be difficult to concentrate on which one. But if we have among everything that we have, it is better for us to have one which will be the head. That is why in everything, every organization, every community, every society, there are many people, but there is one head. There's one head. It is not necessary that the one head is the best, because sometimes you can have a magistrate who is taking bribe. Or you have a king who is also not proper. But because he's there, the idea that there must be somebody who is the final authority they can give. Yes, among all the voices which we have had, the final authority should come from this person. So we have a direction. That is the idea. We should have a direction. If you don't have a direction, this is good, this is good, this is good, all are good. But there's no focus. It will be difficult to even if all are good, it will be difficult to have a direction. Therefore, it is necessary for us to have one Diksha Guru who is the head, that all others will function under. There's always a head. That is the idea.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you for that, Maharaj. So, an announcement for our viewers: if you have any questions to ask to Maharaj, you can post it us on Facebook or YouTube comments, and we'll ask them for you. The next question, Maharaj, you said that there is a need of an authority. Even if, let's say, the authority is not up to the mark, there is always a need of an authority because we need a direction. So, it might have been observed by you that in the last 40 or 50 years of inception of ISKCON, the understanding that the devotees in ISKCON have towards Guru, Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, has changed in many ways. We see at present not really that kind of belongingness or that kind of connection is consciously felt by the devotees in general to their gurus, because they feel they are more associated with the institute than with the guru, with the spiritual master. So, and even the loyalty has come more towards the institute. There's a feeling that ISKCON will deliver us. ISKCON will take us back home, back to Godhead. There are many devotees who are connected to the movement for 15 years, 20 years, and they chant 16 rounds. They even practice following four regular principles. But still, they have some kind of hesitation of accepting a Diksha Guru, taking initiation. So, why this trend has changed now in last 30, 40, 50 years, that people are more comfortable and to be answerable and loyal to an institute than to an individual guru. They don't want to be surrendered to a guru.
So there are many reasons for that. First one is that we the leaders are acting below the standard, and that has affected the faith of many devotees. And because majority of us are not very strong in our resolve in Christian consciousness, we're not very strong in our faith in Christian consciousness, we don't really have a sound understanding of our philosophy and sound sadhana that will give us a perfect direction to go through all challenges and remain the same. Because we don't have that, naturally, the next thing is to take shelter of the institution. But the institution will never help any person to become pure devotee. Because no scripture ever mentioned that an institution can make one qualified to go back to God. The institution cannot monitor, cannot guide our spiritual life. Institution cannot say that. Institution properly established ISKCON in 1965. But the Bhakti Yoga is not started in 1965. It's originally there. So it's a big mistake and it's a confusion that because we the leaders, we have acted below the standard, and that is affecting devotees so much so that they have lost faith in the leaders, and then they are just functioning within the institution. The institution is giving them material facilities to belong. So I have a position. I am a guru, I'm a sannyasi, a temple president, regional director, global duty officer, temples and commander or manager, or whatever, accountant or project manager. So the institution is giving us that, and we are so foolish to think that is the goal of our Christian consciousness. It's a very big mistake you're making. This is one reason. Second reason I will look at is that by nature, most of us doesn't want to surrender. Majority of us doesn't want to surrender. So if I don't want to surrender, then I will not be able to. I won't have the energy to accept any authority, or accept any challenge or challenge that will come my way. So whenever there is a little opportunity like this, then it justifies our nature. So now we don't want authorities. We ourselves are the authorities. This is the problem. But it is a big mistake because we are allowing material energy to take our heritage away from us. Because institution cannot take us back to God. But pure devotees can do that. And one can also another thing is that because we become faithless, we don't have trust again in anybody, because I don't know who is different from all those that I have, which I'm misbehaving. How do I know that this one is different, or is going to be different? or today he's behaving nicely like this. This is what other people did, and tomorrow he's going to show his own way. I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow. Better for me not to go to anyone. This is foolishness, because if you would think that all doctors are quack because we have been cheated by so many quack doctors, if I should not go to any doctor, we will be dead. Our sickness will kill us. Yes, if 99% of the doctors are quacks, but it doesn't mean that 100% are quacks. There is one there. So we should be intelligent, we should be serious enough to look for that one which is not. And it is our responsibility to do that. It is not the responsibility of Krishna or other acharyas or the institution or somebody. No, it is our responsibility. Why is it our responsibility? It is our responsibility because that tests the purity of our own Christian consciousness. It tests the purity of our interest in Christian consciousness. It tests also what is our reason of taking to Christian consciousness. What is it? Is it material or it is spiritual? How Christian consciousness is our motivation in Christian consciousness. That tests it. Therefore, it is our responsibility to know who is that one pure devotee. Because pure devotees do not flock. They don't. Pure devotees come one at a time, not flock. So we have to be very, very, very serious, very, very sincere in our own Christian consciousness that we are here for Christian consciousness. Then Krishna will direct us to that person who will not cheat us. That person who will not going to disappoint us. That person will not destroy our faith.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you just mentioned that pure devotees are not available in blogs or in groups. They come one at a time. So what does this exactly mean? That there cannot be more than one pure devotee on the planet at the same time? Or the pure devotees are very few in number? We can count them on fingers. What does it mean, Maharaj?
Yes, when we look at our chariots in the altar, on our altar, when we look at the chariots there, okay, let's start from us so we know where we are. There is a distance between Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami. There was a distance. There's a big gap. That big gap does not mean that there were no devotees there. There were devotees there, but one to handle that position, to lead us like Prabhupada did and what Acharya did, is not always present. But in between, they are devotees. They are devotees there. That's that one that is going to make a significant impact in the universe. That is not common. That is not always there. There's always a distance. Then if you go back also, you can look at the distance between the Bhakti Dhira Damodara down to Jagannath Dev. There's also a gap. It's also a gap. Big gap. That is why Jagannath Dev Maharaj is a shiksha to Bhakti Dhira Damodara, not diksha, it's shiksha. Then behind the Jagannath Dev Maharaj, there's also a big gap. So if the big gap all like this through to the end, that's what it means. In between, there are devotees there. Yes.
So basically, Maharaj, what you said just now, does it refer to an acharya? Like the acharya is not always present.
Yes.
The devotees might be always there, but an acharya will be rarely present.
Exactly.
So such acharyas are rare. They come sometimes. Yes, Maharaj. Okay, and Maharaj, then a last question from today. I was thinking on this topic. I just elaborate a bit. Some days back, I had a discussion with one devotee, and then I was trying to explain it from this perspective. Like if there is a teacher who has 20, 30, 40 students, then the teacher may want all the students to become good students, but at the same time, the teacher doesn't expect all the students to become same.
Right.
So is it also true in the spiritual arena that a guru may want all the disciples to become good disciples, but then the disciples should not compete with one another to become same. Like, I should replace that devotee or that disciple, and we should be similar in all aspects. So, because that understanding leads to a wrong kind of competition, that we want to copy each other and imitate each other and become like each other. Rather, it should be that we all have to become good disciples, but then our guru might expect different things from each one of us. So,
Yes.
can you please elaborate on that a bit, Maharaj?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Every father, every spiritual master, every yes, spiritual master, teacher wants all the students to become first class, to be qualified to go back from birth to body. Every bona fide guru want that. Every bona fide guru want that. And that is their interest. And for that, they will scout for many, because with that many, they will look for one. Oh, properly explain that. If one person can become a pure devotee from reading this Bhagavad Gita, then we'll consider our attempt to be a success. So the Papa is not looking for one acharya. He's looking for one pure devotee. He's looking for, he wants every devotee to be. As he said, I want all my disciples to become gurus. That is his interest, that is his desire. But it is not the case that everybody will become that kind of devotee. Now, at the time they came here with the interest to deliver the whole world. But it is not the nature of this Masala that everybody will become so serious in Christian consciousness that be delivered and sent back to God. We are going to act differently. Why? Because of our academic background. Some of us are joining this movement first time, or from the mode of ignorance. We are going to act differently. Some of us are here in the mode of passion. We are going to act differently. Some are in the mode of goodness, and some are already transcendental. So this is there always. Therefore, although it is the desire of the spiritual master to see that all his disciples become pure devotees and go back from birth to Godhead, at the same time he knows that it will not always be true like that. But he continued to preach extensively, to make more devotees, and give many people opportunity to begin their spiritual life. Even if they don't become pure devotees now, they want to begin their spiritual life somehow or other. So even though sometimes the spiritual master knows that this person is below the standard, he will give them initiation, encourage them to continue. That is a push that pure devotees always do to help us. But at the same time, he is not frustrated that I'm doing so much and I'm not having 100 or 1 million pure devotees. No, he knows that it will not be like that. But he will continue. And that does not give room for the disciples to start competing. That the spiritual master want the disciples to become pure devotees, it's not a chance for disciples to become a competitors. Like I want to become. No, it will not work. And that is not the way. It will never work because we are not on the same level. So we'll never have the same understanding, neither the same strength in practice. We will not have that. So we cannot be. So the best thing is that we listen to the spiritual master's instruction, try to understand him and follow that. If we follow, we will be empowered by the spiritual master to become a first-class disciple.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We're very grateful for all the answers you gave and the time you took for us. It was really enlivening session. You answered many questions, and I'm sure all the devotees who are watching it, including myself, are immensely benefited by. Maharaj will want you to come again on the next week Saturday, same time, for our episode 4 on the same topic, Demystifying Guru-Disciple Relationship. Waiting to see you again, Maharaj.
It's a pleasure to be with you and all the devotees. So, what is the value of being a devotee if we have no service for devotee? It's a service. That is our position. And we are servants, and the servant duty is to serve. And what can be better served than to serve devotees? And Krishna said that one who gives this teaching to my devotees, so dear to me, so dear. And if we want to be dear to Krishna, I think we should start doing something for devotees. So we will always try to be here. As long as the soul is still in it, body, we will use it for this service. So we are here for you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Maharaj is always an inspiration for all of us, taking out so much time for each one of us, guiding us. Thank you so much, Maharaj. We'll see you again next week. Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Guys.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you all the viewers for staying with us on Facebook and YouTube Live. We'll meet again on next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. India time, 12 p.m. Lagos time. Do join us for the 4th episode on Demystifying Guru-Disciple Relationship. And we request you to please come up with questions. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to ask questions to Maharaj and get answers from his divine lotus mouth. We end here now with an announcement on the book, Spiritual Connection by Maharaj. Watch that video, enjoy it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Dhira Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare.